All right, everyone, welcome to Ask Hypnotica number 12. I am obviously in a new setting down in Acapulco. Just got done teaching a seminar with a great bunch of guys with Sasha Dagane. And while I was down here, I'm thinking, you know what? It would be wrong not to stay consistent with these Ask Hypnotica questions. So this one actually ties in a lot with number 11 because it's one of those subjects that can be painful for most guys if you don't know what I'm talking about. Guys, what's the most painful thing that a man can experience? Think about it. Okay, blue balls, the dreaded blue balls. Been there, done that. If you read my book Metaphor, you will know that I have a chapter specifically to talk about how painful that could be. And this is the question. It comes from Toronto, Canada, and the guy's name is, I'm going to just say K, because this is one of those things you probably don't want the world knowing that you have blue balls sometimes. So it says, love the new Ask Hypnotica series. I have a question I'd really like to get an answer to. I'm a firm believer in only ejaculating 1 to 2 times at max. The reason, I feel like a god when I don't. Good for you. Now, I have unstoppable energy, focus, and drive when I don't. Plus, the sex is 10 times better. The problem is, the blue balls are terrible. I make love to my girl for a few hours. Good job, you're doing better than most men. And by the end, it feels like I've been kicked in the balls by a soccer player. Or I've been soccer kicked in the balls. We all know what that feels like if you have blue balls. It sucks. Sure, it goes away, but it lasts for about an hour and a half, and it's brutal. Is there any way to solve this? Thanks in advance, buddy. Think about it. Like, if you're doing pretty good, like 1 and 2 hours, pleasing your girl, it sucks to be able to, get rewarded by having blue balls. And basically, if any of you don't know what blue balls feels like, okay, it's imagine like putting your balls in a vice, pumping them up full of air, and just squeezing and doing that, and then putting probes on them, so it's like, woo, 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 woo. It's painful, man, and I was plagued by that in high school, because in high school, I didn't get much in high school. So when I kind of messed around a little bit, and that bad boy was up and ready to go, and it was feeling that pressure, and it wanted to go somewhere, it was like, got its suitcases going, like we're going, and the bus never arrived. So basically, I just sat there with my filled up suitcases and had to carry them around all day. Okay, it sucks, totally. All right, but here's a couple things that, Kay, I'm going to call you, that you can think about. Now, there's a couple different philosophies here that we're talking about. One is, first of all, where you're saying you're not ejaculating. Okay, 1 to 2, maybe you're ejaculating 1 to 2 times a month. Okay, that's okay, but I'm wondering if you were learning the correct way to not ejaculate and still breathe up the energy, so it's just not sitting in your fucking nutsacks where it's gravity, called gravity, okay? Throbbing, all right? So I'm wondering if you haven't learned yet to channel that energy and squeeze your PC muscle, which the Kegels that we talked about will help you do that. But it's basically using your breath so you can orgasm without ejaculating. And if you orgasm without ejaculating, you don't have that prolactin that's being released that makes you want to go night-night, or gets you tired, okay? Or takes out a lot of the nutrients, especially zinc and things like this from your body. So you can actually channel that energy to strengthen your own being. So I'm wondering if you're doing that. And the way it works is like this. Say you're going, you're like, all right, you know what? I decided for myself that I'm going to come. All right. So what you do is you basically, as soon as you're there, and if you have super strong Kegel PC muscles, you squeeze that and you breathe it up, like you're breathing that energy up. So it's like this is basically what it would look like. So you're getting ready to come. So you're at that point. You go like, and what you do is you squeeze that PC muscle and you take your stomach muscles and you breathe that energy up and you dissipate it and you disperse it throughout your body. And it can be extremely healing and regenerative if you take in that energy and you nourish yourself. All right. I'm wondering if you're doing that, or you're just saying, okay, enough's enough, and you go and you just don't do anything. Because if you don't do anything, you don't dissipate that energy or channel it through breath throughout the rest of your body, then it's going to sit there and it's going to throb. It's not, like I said, I feel for you, bro. All right. And ice definitely don't work. All right. And here's a little side note, but this is what I talk about in Metaphor. But I'll tell you, if you sit there and you're doing your thing and you bust out, you could shoot like 15 feet because that pressure is like, pow! All right, so if you want to play a game with it, measure yourself, go for the world record or something. But bottom line is, first, I hope that you're being able to orgasm, because reward yourself for that. And, excuse me. And secondly, be able to channel it up. Now, I know a lot of girls get really bummed out sometimes if you're like, I don't need to come. Here's another aspect of the situation that we're talking about is, like I've experimented with this before. What I've noticed is anytime after 10, the energy hits a certain point in reserve. And what I figured out, this is me personally, so you can figure out your own little groove and what works for you. But say out of 10, I could ejaculate once if I wanted to and still keep that vitality if I wanted to. So you might want to picture that. It doesn't need to be like all the time, but there comes a level where you reach a certain level where you've got enough, and every once in a while you can have a release. So you can actually do that. Or what we talked about earlier, you can channel it so you're like taking that energy and you're like, it looks weird, okay, obviously, but who knows? It's one of those things that's effective. So channel that energy to yourself, dissipate it throughout your body, and get all that extra energy for you, because that can really help motivate you to stay focused on your goals and your desires and have that energy. Because when you do it that way, you're not tired afterwards. You don't feel drained. So hopefully you're doing that. And like I said, the second thing is find out where that rhythm is. It doesn't have to be like 1 or 2 times a month, okay? It could be 1 every 10 times. That's where I've noticed that if I wanted to release, I could do that and still maintain that level of energy, and I wouldn't feel dissipated. If you're doing it every day and you keep on depleting your energy over and over and over, yeah, you're going to feel depleted. It is a practice. It's something that you have to get into a ritual for the most part, because it's easy. Guys want that prolactin release. They want that stress release. They want to relax. So I'm hoping that this solved your issue. First thing is, are you being able to do multi-orgasmic stuff with the breath and the squeezing the PC muscle and pulling that energy up instead of just letting it rest there? The second thing is just find out where it is, where every once in a while, if you want to release, but find out, like, okay, after 10, you realize that it doesn't go down and you can go another 10. So these are things to think about. So, Kay from Canada, Toronto, I got to get back out there to Acapulco because Acapulco's calling me. I just wanted to get this question off to you and hope that it helps. So with that, we will talk soon. Hypnotica out.